Hello everyone, welcome back again to Spiritual Growth Tarot and Astrology. I'm Denise. If you're new, welcome. So anyway, this is our astrological reading for the week of, we're going to go through the transits for the week of January 7th through the 13th. We have the new moon in Capricorn coming in at 20 degrees. We also have Mercury moving, it's retrograded back into Sag a little bit, now it's moving to Capricorn again. And the way we finished off last week, we had this YOD, this finger of fate, and it continues on into this week and I think into even next Sunday. So that is something really wonderful to look at. So I look forward to this. But anyway, let me just swap out cameras and bring it over my table here where you can see the charts. Okay, hold on. Alrighty, this week we have a couple of things that are going to be lasting all week. Which is, I think, really important. I'm kind of excited about is that, see how Uranus is right here at 19 degrees Taurus, and the point of this in conjunct here, quincunx in conjunct 150 degree aspect, back here to the south node. Now remember, the nodal axis goes backwards. So the south node at the 20 degrees is headed towards 19, which will exact with Uranus. And first of all, remember when we do have these inconjuncts here, these 150 degree aspects, and there's the other one right up there going to Ceres, what happens is that, well, you can't have an inconjunct without it being a really tight orb. So it's like, 0 to 3 degrees of an orb. And what makes it a YOD, a finger of fate, finger of God, whatever you want to call it, is the fact that we have a sextile coming from 2 points or 2 planets. In this case, Ceres is our dwarf planet. Is she a dwarf planet? Wait, I can't remember. Yeah, she's a dwarf planet, like Pluto and like Eris. So she's up here at one corner, holding space. The way this whole thing goes to me is like 2 points holding space for something pointed towards the other end, and this is where the release is going to be. Okay, so we have one corner up here in Ceres holding space for all types of nurturing and support with food and agriculture, farming, all of those good things that take care of us, right? And that how we take care and nurture each other. In Sag, we're in the realm of beliefs and ideas and freedom and speaking up and having faith in ourselves, having faith in a universe that is loving and or was built, on loving and kindness, especially for the purpose of creation, right? So we can continually create, here on planet Earth. Although planet Earth is, of course, a school where everyone gets to incarnate and work through their distortions. So we have to bring our power back to ourselves. This is my belief here with Ceres, is to bring our power back to ourselves and what do we really believe in. And then from there, as we heal our own distortions and explore what life is really about, for each of us, then things will be things will work out better. We will avert a lot of pain and crisis and issues if we're loving and kind, basically. But along that way, we have to take every opportunity to get inside of whatever was in our past, no matter how painful it was, not to negate anything, to accept everything that's going on within, and not to push it aside and say, oh, I'm above that, or I have to focus on love. How can I focus on love if I'm feeling this way? If we go inside and get in touch with the truth of our feelings, then that's that bridge to help us heal the past. And so what I like to do is not identify with the pain, but identify it and process it through. It's just an old experience that we went through, and if it comes up again, that means there's a little extra piece of healing, and there's no reason not to go there. As long as we're not hurting ourselves or others, we're going to be doing just fine. And that is what creates the freedom. Uranus here in Taurus will be freedom in our bodies, freedom with our abundance to open up in new ways, and liberation, like liberation of the soul. In evolutionary astrology, Uranus is in a natal chart, is the planet that can reveal soul shocks from the past. So we've all been through this, just on a general basis here, Uranus in Taurus. It can be this soul shock that we've all gone through on a body security, safety level, self-preservation level, going through COVID, right? And going through the massive amounts of assault weapons, crises. So safety is where we're headed with new inventions and something that could come through. And I don't know that it'll happen this week, but at least for us personally, we can have some type of freedom within our souls, within our nervous system. Uranus also relates to the nervous system. So from that, just hold that, in your heart all week long, no matter what you're going through. Is just think of what would create freedom in your life. What is it that you need to let go of in order to feel more free, right? What false belief could you be holding on out of security, thinking that you're safer, and it's because it came through from relationships in the past, most likely our parents, grandparents, all of that, you got to do da like this, all this like rigid, hard, and I'm not speaking to Libra when I say that, but that'd be more like Pluto and Capricorn, rigid, hard, you just gotta, that kind of thing. Never cry, hold your head up, that is not healthy. That is not healthy at all. Every time we stop our feelings, we stop our growth. So just remember that. Okay, Ceres actually this whole stellium in Sagittarius was in Scorpio, but Sagittarius now. I spoke a lot about the last few weeks, and I'll just name it, again, because it's here, right? On the dark side, on the light side, Sagittarius will help us get to the truth, if that's what we're headed. Remember, everything has to do with intention. You set your intentions, and then if that's the direction, now you can't just say, I want that. I just want the truth, but I'm not going to do work for it. But if you set the intention and then do the research and you're exploring, this is Sagittarius, true meaning, exploration of the belief system, and you go in that direction, you'll find out what is the truth if you keep going, and use your logic too. Use your your good reasoning abilities. But if you don't think it through and you're just going off in the wrong direction because it's their ideology that jives with yours, and then we're in the realm of you have to be careful, because you can really be headed towards something. Something like religious dogma or patriotism that is not. It's just not real to be in this us versus them mentality. But we always have to. The important thing, no matter what's going on in the world and what's going on in life, is we have to be present. So in the present moment, in this present time, in this present era, what is possible based on the fact that we are in this huge realm under, some form, no matter where we live, no matter what country we're in, some form of rules and regulations of the government or whomever is in charge, okay? So with Saturn sextiling Mars at one end here, Mars in Capricorn, and then over here to Jupiter, notice there's, these two earthly bodies, Jupiter and Mars. Jupiter wants to get somewhere and wants to get her done. Mars wants to get somewhere and get it done. Jupiter wants to expand in ways, and in Taurus, in ways that bring in more safety, security, abundance. Things that are solid is what these two signs, or these two, the two earthly signs in these two planetary bodies want. Okay, so just keep that in mind. It's all about safety, security, having it, and working. That we want work, people want safety, security, and abundance, and more abundance. And we're willing to give up something in order, and we want on one level, the downside of Saturn and Pisces is that we want the government to just give it to us, and some people want it to just happen for us, and we want them to take charge of it, and we don't want to have to think, some people, I shouldn't say we, some people just want to have it done for them, and so they can just go along their merry way and do whatever they want without thinking too much about it. And then they have authority issues. This would be Saturn in the dark side of, Pisces. And like I always say, the light side is building a very solid spiritual foundation. And that's the opportunity here that is really, really, really beautiful, that I love seeing. And that's this sextile over to Jupiter, the builders of the zodiac, like I was saying last week, is going to be lasting for quite some time. But the darker side with this configuration here can be that we have these certain ideologies. Some people have these certain ideologies, like no matter what, I won't vote for a person because this happened, right? And this happened in the past, and this is happening now. But they're not necessarily in their heads thinking it all the way through. And here comes the downside of all of this energy here, is that, and then especially with the South Node in Libra wants peace, right, at any price. And even if that means not voting for the only president that's going to get you out of this democratic, or get you out of this situation where we wouldn't be in a democratic society anymore and we would be in an autocratic society, there's this forcing current to not vote for the guy that can actually take care of you, which I think, well, it could be another, I don't know, if somebody comes in, if the DNC would get behind another president besides Biden, there's that very real possibility, but it's so late in the game, I doubt that is, I honestly doubt that that's a viable option. I can't see how that could happen. So here's my point here I'm trying to make with everything for this week, is that I'm sitting in present time reality, okay? I know that there are wars going on all over the world. Being born, when I was born and growing up in the 60s, and, I've always wanted peace, okay? No matter what, I want world peace. But I'm surrendered Saturn in Pisces. And I'm accepting present time reality is, I may not even see that in my lifetime. I may not see, where there's never any war on Earth in this lifetime. But if I had a forcing current to make sure that, like, let's say you have a president like Biden that's done so much for us, and we won't even see everything that he's done until the next few years goes by, because things won't go into effect until, a lot of them won't go into effect until 2024 or end of this year, and then next year, 2025, even 2026. A lot of the bills, or I'm sorry, a lot of the laws that were passed, but. So here's where I'm challenging some people out there who are thinking, well, okay, there's no way I'm going to vote for Trump, but I can't stand what Biden did in Israel. I can't stand this, calling him things like a warmonger, right? Well, maybe he's just painfully surrendered to the fact that he has to do something, and maybe he's learning, and I've always gotten clearly with my other, card readings, especially with Lori over at the Way of Positive Change. We read for probably 45 minutes in one live stream just on Netanyahu, and we both saw him going down. So meanwhile, we've got people saying they're going to vote for a third-party candidate just because they don't like Trump or Biden. Well, what's that going to do? I mean, that's pretty much like spitting in the wind. There is no way in heaven that a third-party candidate could get those 270 electoral college votes. And while I wish the electoral college was gone so that every vote was just, one person, one vote, and it was the popular vote, we didn't deal with the electoral college, I have to surrender present time, that's Saturn. Just think Pisces surrender, Saturn is present time reality. I have to surrender to the fact that that's where we are. We do have an electoral college. We even still have gerrymandering. So many things that need to be changed, laws that need to be changed. But they aren't yet, and they will not be by November 5th, 2024, when everyone exercises their right to vote. So if somebody goes and votes for a third-party candidate, they're just taking a vote away from, either Biden or Trump, and most likely it's not going to work out for you well, even on the soul level, because you haven't thought things through yet. You haven't used that high-level reasoning and exercised everything that could from the past. And even if you can't think it through on your own, you can educate yourself, you can research, you can go into a state of wanting to know the truth, surrendering to present time reality and wanting to know the truth. So if we want to know the truth, we will get there. Like I was saying, energy wraps around your intention. But your intention has to be followed through with hard work. So therein, I think I've given the best example I could about, I've said as much as I can about the energy between the Libra South Node, all this Sagittarian energy up here, and all the Capricorn hard work energy here, and the Piscean, surrender. And we can see the big picture, right? We can see a place where there is nothing but peace on earth, and everything is just beautiful and blissful, and because that's where we came from, right? That's where our spiritual substance still lives, and inside of us, inside the cell, inside the nucleus of every cell in our body, that is still there. But if we have this forcing current to have it that way right now here on Earth, then we are completely negating the fact that we're here on this dualistic planet. We're unitive beings who incarnated onto a dualistic planet, and we're having to work that out. And one of the biggest ways to working that out is to relax and see both sides, and do not have a forcing current, because it'll just end up blowing up in your face. That's what forcing currents do. It's like putting two magnets together, and they, how they push back. Nothing will ever come together that way, right? There's spiritual laws in there. So all week long, this is what we're, all types of situations like that is what we are, we're given the opportunity to free ourselves from, the dualistic thinking that if it's not this way, then I'm going to rebel. Uranus is the planet of rebellion. But it's like, with the example I use, it'd be like, cutting off your nose to spite your face. And it's like, how is that going to help? How is that going to help? It's not going to get us where we need to go. It won't get you what you want either, because third-party candidate doesn't have a chance in hell or heaven for winning at this point. Maybe someday, the independent party will be just as strong as the Democratic Party, and then we'll duke it out, or not even, doesn't have to duke it out. One will be just as good as the other, and we'll probably be happy either way. Maybe, I don't know. But the Republican Party is definitely going down. Meanwhile, let's don't screw it up and give the Republican Party any more power by by, oh, I'm just going to vote for a third-party candidate. So, look at these third-party candidates, okay? Look at Cornel West. Look at, I don't even know who else is there. In 2016, it was Jill Stein. Turned out she was a Russian plant. Study your history there. Capricorn, study your history there. Sag, study your history. Sag and Capricorn is all about history, okay? Study history and see what worked in the past and what didn't. And, yeah, I don't need to beat up Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook anymore and for how he ruined the whole election. But, you can just research Cambridge Analytica and the Internet Research Agency, which was created by Prigozhin, who, went down on the plane because he rebelled against Putin, and Putin had a bomb put in the plane, and that guy's gone. But he took responsibility, Prigozhin took responsibility for forming the Internet Research Agency, and that is where all of the Russian bots and propaganda written by Putin and his oligarchs, and that's what infiltrated our system. But yeah, sure, go ahead and get it behind one of these third-party candidates, or maybe like an RFK Jr., right? Who was, by the way, on one of the planes in the flight logs with Epstein and Ghislaine to, what was it, Little Epstein's Island or Little St. John or whatever it was. But yeah, get the guy that likes to go on a regular commuter plane with no shoes, walks around barefoot, goes to the bathroom with no shoes. It's like, forget it. I'm not going there. But anyway, go ahead, get behind one of those guys, and then think it through. Just put yourself in that position of going there and think it through, and do your research while you're thinking it through, and wonder, is there any way that this guy could win, or this woman could win, or these, whoever these people are. And then here's my last point, and then I'll get off my little soapbox here. And know that I've covered, I think, the political part of the astrology, and the rest of this can be the personal part. If you are one of those people, if you are Cornel West, or you are RFK Jr., or you are, I don't know the other ones, because there's no way I'm going there, but if you are one of them, what is your intention? What are you trying to accomplish? Knowing that you don't have a snowball's chance in hell to get elected, why would you want to run on a platform that would pull away votes from the Democrats when now in history, because remember, back to what's presently going on now, right, is that we are in a fight for our democracy. So if you're Cornel West, what in the hell is your intention? And then you're going to get it behind a guy like that and vote for him? Why would you do that? Right now, it's like we have the difference between voting for Hitler or someone who could take us out of Hitler's, influence. If you've never studied how Hitler became who he is and got himself into a position of power, let alone all the amphetamines that he was on, and all the drugs constantly. Just study that. See how he got there, and see if you can apply it to where we are now. At this time in history, see if you can figure out at whatever year it was. I'm not going to tell you. I want you to figure it out if you haven't ever studied it. Figure out at what point was there maybe a breaking point where everyone could have risen up and said, no way is this little guy getting in. This guy's coming from separation and hate against a group of individuals that have there's no deserving of this, other than they look different. They're not Aryan, right? All of that. So that hate and separation is what every soul is here on earth to heal. We come here to heal our separation from our spirit, right? That's it. So how are we going to heal that if we are going to not come from a loving stance and look at the big picture? So, okay, so I'm going to stop. Now, so there's the Uranus finger fate with Uranus at the, what do you call, the breaking point here for politically, as I see it. So for personally, it could be breakthroughs that come from, and this is especially the case with the moon opposing Uranus, although it's going out of orb, it's a wide orb, but everything from Saturday on would have been the moon opposing Uranus, and what we're dealing with there is, okay, with Scorpio, the moon in Scorpio, we're needing to, and I'm glad I'm addressing this because I always upload these on Thursday, maybe most of you watch them on Friday, so it would be moving into what I'm speaking to now. With the moon in Scorpio, no, I don't have my phone close by where I could look and see what degree it's at right now, but I do know that the moon's in Scorpio, and so it's more of an approaching opposition. Okay, oppositions lead to confrontations. The confrontation is in the energy of, do I trust this person? Can I get closer to this person or these people? There's a lot of intensity here. I wonder what their secrets are. Do I dare trust them with my secrets? You know, that's the type of energy, right? Or is it all just about emotional transformation so that your emotional reactions are no longer holding you back, and instead you can flow with your pure feelings, with the feelings that change and move, and you go, oh yeah, okay, I get that, and so now I'll go in that direction, and then I have something solid, right? Because we're going from Scorpio to Sag to Capricorn this week. The new moon, this moon will be over here. I can't remember what degree. We'll see. It's on Thursday. Probably about 18. I think the new moon's at 20 degrees. So 20, yeah, that's it. So what I'm speaking to now will be the buildup to the new moon, okay? So even from today on, like I was saying, can I transform my old emotional baggage and see clearly and feel clearly, and then trust that flow that my feeling and intuition, because it's the same thing, guides you in, okay? And if I can do that, then I can have a breakthrough in my soul substance. I can have a big awareness. Uranus is something that will, help us awaken. It can sometimes feel like you're detaching from something, you don't really know what it is. If you're detaching from crisis because you're not going to go there anymore. But again, staying present, like the point I was making earlier, always staying present with what's going on now. But then again, if you're focused on the big picture, all you have to do is just stay in a loving state, and that will be the breakthrough. And then you'll understand that, this vehicle, this sojourn in our bodies is meant to help us wake up and free ourselves. So you see where I'm coming from? And this is why I'm not one of those astrologers that still associates Uranus and Saturn together, because I don't feel the energies are that way at all. Just like in the body, Saturn rules the bones, Uranus rules the nervous system. Now, of course, they all work together. That's not the point. The point is that they're separate. Okay, so Uranus is about awakening and freedom. Saturn has everything to do with stabilizing and holding something in place that is already built, right? We've got contraction here, and then maybe more of, I don't know if it'd be more of a mutable energy that can just free and go the other direction. I kind of feel like that's what it is. I mean, definitely Jupiter is our expansion, right? We have those three forces in the universe: expansion, contraction, and stasis. They are in the heart. You have the pump, and then you have the O-ring in the middle that gives the pause. Even with the breath, you take the breath in, there's a little pause. You can hold your breath if you want, and then you exhale, right? So it's all... You can just look to nature for a lot of wisdom, actually. Look to your own body for a tremendous amount of wisdom. It's like a miracle what's going on that we don't even have to think about with the parasympathetic system. So anyway, I think I've covered that with Uranus on the personal level. With the moon, it's just going to continue by Sunday, where it's going to continue to move forward and will be out of orb. But the focus will still be down here on Uranus all week long with this YOD and this finger of fate. So I am one of those people that do believe that there is things that are fated, but we always have free will within that fate. Right? Like every lifetime, we're fated to experience certain things because we're trying to heal from the past lifetimes. But we do have tons and tons of free will as we're moving along. And that's where the Sagittarian energy comes in, which is beautiful. And that's where Jupiter comes in as well. Jupiter that's the ruler of Sag. So anyway, okay, let's see what else is important for today before I move on. There are so many. Well, okay, right here. The sun, notice how the sun is at 16 degrees. It's squaring Chiron, and it was last week as well, all last week. So it's about shining the spotlight on some old, well, it depends on if you've worked through all of your old, dualistic splits in your mind and your ego, and you've worked through your deeper wounding. Then the gifts start coming through, and that may very well be what you guys have been experiencing. But wherever you are, you need to be where you are and go through whatever you're going through. So don't judge yourself if you're still having trouble. Please don't. It's just a part of life, and just keep trying to love yourself through it. Do your best to love yourself through it, and never ever judge yourself harshly. As long as you're not hurting other people along the way, or hurting yourself, then and in those cases, you want to get some support, right? You don't want to go through anything like that alone. You need some professional support. But okay, so oh goodness, with see how the sun, back to the sun here at 16 degrees Capricorn, and see how it's squaring the north node and squaring the south node. So that here, I'll do this. There, you can see that a little better. Okay, so see this red line from here to here? So, and then over to this red line over to the south node. So just remember, I'll reiterate again, south node's the past and the wisdom of the past, and especially in relationships, and especially with trying to balance out our soul substance, especially with all things Libra, which are relating and engaging with other people and sharing, and then it's a lot of self-reflection too. And then the North Node is the future, where we're all headed, and in Aries, it has to do with trusting our instincts, being a little more daring, and then with all that Sag fiery energy, with all these trines going up, coming from eras. I mean, my goodness, hold on, if I go to the grid here. Yeah, okay, so here's the North Node. Here's the trine up to Mercury. Here's the trine up to Ceres. Okay, so those are really strong. What else is going? Yeah, the trine, that's right, Chiron to Venus. Okay, so basically just... yeah, it's all these other trines coming off of Venus and Ceres, yeah. Okay, so anyway, there's a whole lot of flow of energy, fiery energy. So courageous, fire, presence, initiation. I'm trying to think of some Aries keywords. Your unique individual self moving forward. And then with the Sag energy, moving forward in the direction that you want to go because it's something you believe in. And challenging over here with Aries energy is you don't want to feel left out. And in a distortion, you want to be first. You never need to be first. Or you want somebody to go ahead of you because you don't have the courage to go off on your own. There's a little distortion there too. But it's okay. You work with it, do the best you can. We all have our own perfect timing. Again, so don't judge that. But if you're hiding in fear, just question it. Just go, what am I really afraid of? Right? Like what's going on there? And then what do you really believe in? And with Venus and Sag, you're going to, because Venusian energy has everything to do with harmony and bringing people together and whatever it is that we value. So we're trying to find a lot of things that we value that bring so much value into our lives, or that we value so much that we're willing to put a lot of our life force, our energy into. And that's how I see all of this. We're thinking about that. As Mercury has moved out of its retrograde and is moving forward, it still has to get, I think it's about 8 degrees. It went retrograde 8 degrees Capricorn. So we won't get out of the Mercury retrograde shadow until about the 20th of this month. So be easy on yourself, be easy on others. Take for granted that you will most likely, a good amount of the time, be misunderstood, or need to rethink something. When Mercury retrograde, for me, that's just all about, I get to rethink. I will get the opportunity to go back over some old territory and work it through again and in a better way. You'll get more out of it. So I don't mind Mercury retrogrades, except for when things break down. And they do. But, that's life. That's life with modern technology and things that we use every day. Tools always break down, right? Ask any carpenter, ask any plumber, ask any person who's good with their hands. Tools always break down. So and that brings us, I think, to Mars and Capricorn energy, which does show that because Mars is our planet that tends to be related to tools. A lot of guitarists are known to have an exalted Mars or Sun conjunct Mars, or other planets connected to Mars, and so it brings in that extra strength. And then with the in the sign of Capricorn. Capricorn is definitely related to metals and tools and anything that helps you get the job done. So there's this focus of trying to get the job done. What is the job, right? And we have this sesquisquare connecting down here to Uranus. So we're stubbornly hanging in there in a way that can help us get something done. We're not giving up, basically, is the energy here. We've got fixed energy here with Uranus and Taurus, so it's not moving, except for when we're free. It'll move when we're ready to move it, right? And then with Mars and Capricorn, it's like, I'll just keep working. If I have to climb to that top of the mountain, I will, because I'm not giving it up, right? But then again, if it comes to something with the mind, where we have all this mutable energy with Sag, helping us to maybe let go of old beliefs that weren't working out or that aren't true. If you're always asking for the truth, you'll finally get it. But you have to be open with your mind and allow new ideas to come in and test things out. And this Mars and Capricorn energy is very, very well geared to constantly, continually testing things out until you get it right. And the moon in Scorpio today is really, really good for refining whatever new discoveries you make and that freedom that comes through. So back to, sorry about that, I had a little squirrel moment there. Back to the sun, T-square, the nodes, okay? That brings in the energy of shining the light. The sun, she's shining the light in many very practical ways that to help you integrate some life lessons, because it's in the second decan of Capricorn. Solid plans, and the light is shining on the past to see how it went. You know, like, I've tried this before. Has it worked? Oh, I've gotten in trouble this way before. How's that going to work out if I just keep along that track? But you also have a light shining on the future, and there's a lot more courage to do things differently and to break free. So, not just today, but yeah, I guess, okay. Not just today with Uranus, I mean, not just the sun with the T-square to the nodes is not just today, it's because it's at 16 degrees, and this Uranus YOD is all week long. So it's going to, this YOD that's, I'm sorry, T-square that's in place, and the YOD that's in place, the finger of fate, and the T-square, this is all week long, okay? So we're shining that light on our past and our future, and with Mercury up here, squaring Neptune here. See how Mercury's at 24, Neptune's at 25, and we've been over this territory before, but this is our last little hit for now. What's happening here is that we really are questioning who's lying and who's telling the truth, who's been lying for a long time. And again, like I was saying in the beginning, using a political example, we can apply that in our own personal lives too. I always focus on what a person's intentions are and then what their actions are. Like, if you're trying to figure out whether a relationship or a partnership or just even a project is, if it's right for you or not, the way to go is to, if there are other people involved, see if their actions match their words. And if they don't, trust that their actions are actually telling you the truth. And then when it comes to whether or not they're trustworthy, that's like one little red flag. If their actions don't match their words and they just give a lot of lip service and talk, which can turn, it's actually manipulation, right? But then again, too, you can give them a gentle reminder, like, hey, you said you were going to do this. Do you not want to do it anymore? Do we need to renegotiate something here? Like, what's going on, right? So that it can work out if you use the Jupiter influence of giving them the benefit of the doubt. But if you see a pattern, of a person constantly telling you one thing but not doing it, or in fact doing the opposite of what they're saying they're going to do, then we're in that realm of gaslighting. And that's one of those Mercury square Neptune things, right? So we're looking, here I have to go with politics again. We're looking at grifters like Trump grifting off of his base, and he's gaslighting them constantly. It was gaslighting the rest of us, right? Everything that he's blaming, what does he call? He calls it the Biden crime family. It's the Trump crime family. Biden doesn't have any family members in a position in his cabinet. Trump had his daughter, Jared, and then he had his two sons supposedly running his business, and he was supposed to be divested, but he wasn't. Turns out that was just another big lie. So, there you go. So Mercury square Neptune can be lying, it can be manipulation, it can be just confusion. On the innocent side, it can be confusion where you don't know what to trust, but if you can trust your feelings that something's off, and you explore what that thing is off, you just kind of hold it in the back of your mind before you make any commitment to any type of a relationship or partnership, you're going to want to be careful, right? Like if you're starting a business, if you're starting a new partnership or a relationship during this time, you're really going to want to be careful. Don't commit to anything yet. Go slow. Go slow. There's too much fiery movement energy. And there's, with this Mercury squaring Neptune, wait till that's out of orb. It won't be too long, just give it a couple of weeks at the most. And and then from there things will probably work out. So what else? I think that I can't think of anything else to go with that. Neptune, Mercury. Yeah. So the moon has, notice this line here, this inconjunct here to Eris. Here's another reason to trust your instincts, trust your guidance, trust your I don't know. I'm seeing like a fox and its nose and that scent and that ability to find what it needs, even in the snow. And even if it has to jump way up in the air and then nose dive down into the snow to break through to find food, there is that oomph right here. So trust your spidey senses, trust your nose, trust your olfactory gland, trust your ability to get you going in the right direction by just following whatever instincts are coming through. So basically, follow your instincts would be the message here with this inconjunct. Instincts, it would be Aries energy. And then trusting your senses, all of your senses, would be Scorpionic energy. And then have the courage to trust what's coming through. That's what that aspect is there for today. It's super important. So let's see. The other aspects I've already spoken about, even though I didn't name them outright. I'm going to go ahead and move forward. Let's go to Monday. So by Monday morning, 6 a.m. Pacific, actually much earlier than that, the moon is now in Sag, and we have the moon energy added to, and there's this conjunction to Venus in Sag. So now we are really, really, really wanting to get somewhere that we're getting somewhere in a direction to where we think it's the truth. We think it's the right way. We're hoping it's the right way. So everything I spoke to for the last 45 minutes about, or more, about following your instincts and all of that other spiritual guidance around, how to get to where you need to be, and finding your own way through it, though, too, right? This now will really get somewhere if you can apply that with the moon and Sag. Now because the moon is going to help us connect the dots, right? It's going to help us respond with our intuition and nurture ourselves on our path to get us going in the right direction. And then when you're going in the right direction, you are going to feel better. The power is going to come through your body because your spirit is going to be able to come in more. We're not fighting the system of your spirit that already had set you on a certain path when you came into this lifetime. That's what your natal birth chart's all about. So you're going to be on your path, going on your unique, very unique path, direction. And with Venus there, along with the moon, I think you're going to have friends. I think you're going to have some influence, someone to help you. I think, this energy together is really good for connecting people and to help you compare what matters most. But don't ever compare yourself. Whenever you compare yourself against someone else, you violate spiritual law, because we're meant to be applauded for the fact that we're all very, very unique. Okay, so just don't ever That's one of those hard, like, yes or no's. No, never compare yourself to anyone else. And don't compare others to the others, right? When it's, like, oh, she's prettier than her. Or, like, oh, that's not cool. Those are other distortions that we all have to be careful with. But it's a very human tendency. Or he's smarter than him, all of that. Everyone has their own gifts. Just go for the light. Who's working in the light? Who's working in love? Who's coming from a place of wanting everyone to be equal and unified within that equality, right? Within honoring their uniqueness. Other than hating, these people that want to get us to hate other people, so there you go. There's a flag. If Sag could be a little red flag, it'd be like, don't go that way. Don't go towards the hate. Go towards the love, and you'll be fine. You'll always be fine. Let's see. So you notice the square to the nodes is still there. Pluto doesn't have any aspects right now. And at that nth degree, that anaretic degree of Capricorn, that's interesting for it to be out there all on its own. And we have to go to it to find our power, our integrity. In Capricorn, at the highest levels, we're dealing with the integrity and the duty and the self-responsibility to know that we create our own lives and we don't mind working hard. Now, if you're having any trouble in the area of self-respect or feeling like you've been overlooked, you got to bring that back inside and respect yourself, and don't overlook yourself. Just bring everything back inside. Life is a mirror, so it's all about the inner world first, and then the outer world will mirror what's going on inside of you. And that's the way really to navigate life. I wish that, that came with like every baby, like this owner's manual. Like the natal chart that says, here's this baby's gift. Please honor, him or her, or however they wind up identifying this way. Here's the best. And then with the challenges, be careful not to re-wound them this way, because they've had that wounding in past lives, and we need to be careful with that. So, okay, but anyway, for today with the moon, I'm just going to focus here with the moon in Sag, and all this Sag energy, it's all hooking up together, right? So there's that wanting to be unified, that wanting to connect, that wanting to nurture, and maybe there's support and help with people who have lost loved ones. There's a tremendous amount of grief and separation that's gone on in Israel and with the Palestinians too. And this whole, it's just that is a terrible, terrible thing happening on the international level, which, is often associated with Sagittarian energy, as in Jupiter. And of course, with Jupiter and Taurus, we're talking about, trying to heal survival issues, right? So whatever support we can give, I think will be most appreciated, of course. And there may be a lot of talking about that. There might be some breakthrough in that area, seeing that the past doesn't work, seeing who the autocratic dictator Netanyahu is, seeing how he was connected in ways that he should not have been connected, and to see how he's not really for any Israeli people or definitely not Palestinian people. He's just for himself. And so there could be some shocks that come through there, as well as more and more every day, everything coming through from, Epstein and his list and Lolita Express and all of that. And yeah, so let's see. But anyway, back to the moon. We have a square to Saturn this morning. Well, actually, the exact square was much earlier. So when you first get up this morning, I'm thinking that it's probably one of those mornings where you're just kind of, you're not going to be laying around in bed much. You're going to get up and go. but there's going to be this challenge to want to stay in dream time. And it could also be that some truths came through, or something maybe challenging came through in dream time, and you're, wanting to figure out what the heck does that mean, right? Because remember, Sagittarius wants to bring meaning into life. And with the square over to Saturn in dreamy Pisces, we're like, oh, this might be some karmic guidance, like something you went through in a past lifetime, and now you know why you have that belief, and that belief is false, and so now you can turn it around. It could be something like that, which is a great way to receive guidance. What else? Yeah, as the moon moves closer, it's just going to get tighter. It's going to hit over the next, hours throughout the day. We're talking the moon getting tighter to Venus, and there's going to be more. I don't know that I'd say it's intense. I don't feel like it's intense because we don't have Scorpio. It's not in Scorpio anymore. We don't have anything in Scorpio. But what we do have, and we don't have any aspects to Pluto. So what we do have is softer energy, more nurturing energy, and a lot of communication about that, and thinking along those terms. Like, how do we heal? How do we move forward? The truth is coming out, and as it comes out, some people are shocked, and now what do they do with that? Like, if you were really planning on voting for Trump, but now you see, all this damning evidence about his connection to Jeffrey Epstein in the 90s, and the fact that Virginia Giuffre actually met Epstein at Mar-a-Lago when she was a spa attendant. She was working in the spa at Mar-a-Lago, and she met Ghislaine there and Epps, and I think it was Ghislaine that pretty much started grooming her, because she saw her reading a book on massage therapy, because Virginia Giuffre thought that getting her massage therapy license would be the way to go, and so Ghislaine worked her way in there, and that began the beginning of their relationship. And I think Virginia was only 14 or something like that, 14 or why would she even be working there at that young age? Maybe I'm wrong about her age there, but anyway, that's how the whole thing started. So, if you were, if you're a diehard Trump supporter at this point, maybe you won't be. Maybe I'm thinking. I don't know. Because meanwhile, the sun's getting closer every day towards Sun conjunct Pluto, and the new moon is headed towards the sun. So things are going in the direction of, wait, what? We've got facts here, just the facts. What's going on? What happened in the past? Okay, so now let's go ahead and go to Tuesday. Tuesday, January 9th, 6 a.m., the moon is crossed over Venus and Ceres. So like I said, it's all about that. We've had lots of wanting and longing to come together, going in the right direction, or at the very least, making sure that we're headed in the right direction, not only friendship-wise, relationship-wise, money-wise, financially, trying to make good plans. But now the moon is conjunct Mercury. So this is probably a news dump day. There's probably going to be more news that comes out, and it will bring a lot of courage to a lot of people to go in the right direction. Remember, we still have that YOD, so there's that, freedom. We're all headed towards this freedom and waking up. No matter who is going to be the anti-woke person, nobody's going to want to listen to them anymore, because we're all learning every day anyway, so we're all waking up every day anyway. To be anti-woke is to say no to Uranus, which is not going to work. But, those guys don't believe in astrology anyway. So, okay. Notice this. There's actually two aspects of the architect here. So let me get back over the grid so I don't make a mistake here. Series, yeah. Moon, Mercury, mostly. Ceres has been there. Oh, that's an approaching. These two are separating. Okay. All right, let me get back to the wheel. So the Moon and Mercury here are in a tight trine here, sextile here, which creates the aspect of the architect. So again, those going intuitively towards what is right for you and thinking about it and talking about it. You know, Sag energy is not quiet. It is outspoken. So, and if you've got loving, nurturing relationships, they're going to point you and help you. You're all going to point each other in the right direction. And sometimes we can do that without even, you know, if you're on the listening end of it, you get to be the witness. And it's like having a mirror. If you're on the talking end of it, things will come through as you're speaking, and you'll go, oh, I never thought of that before. Thank you for helping me get there. You know, it can be like that. But there's the energy of taking opportunities and wisdom from the past and then bringing it into the future in a brand new way. So I'm really excited to hear, like, what's going on with you guys? What new projects are you working on? And then today we have the sun. So it's still in that square to the nodes, right? But we also have a trine to Uranus. And this is an approaching trine. So today and tomorrow we have this beautiful energy coming through here. So again, freedom. And freedom to make more money, freedom, maybe people are having new jobs or they're retiring and figuring out what they want to do in their retirement, which usually probably turns into a different kind of job. It could be self-employment when we're dealing with Taurus to Capricorn, right? Because you don't mind taking the self-responsibility to make your own way. And at least you get to work on what you want to work on, right? You just have to work it every darn day. I don't know. I take days off though. Yeah, you have to. Every once in a while you just have to go, no, I'm not doing anything today. Okay, so that's good for work. This is good for breaking free. This is good for new ideas coming in to make money. Things you hadn't thought of before. Or a new way to do the solid thing that you've been doing. You find a new way to, maybe there's some new tools, like either through AI or through, you know, some new invention, because Uranus and Taurus is all about inventions, and especially inventive ways to make more money and to bring in more happiness and to bring in more health in the body. Let's see, what else? There could be a spotlight, even though it's a trine, it's a flow, doesn't really have to be an easy thing, but it could be a spotlight that has shown on that's shining, has shown on someone who's been in control, and it's a little shocking. Like, oh, maybe someone else comes out from Ep's list. There's that possibility. So it makes me wonder. But anyway, for us personally, at 18 degrees of Capricorn, we are in that second decan, almost into the third. So we are integrating the things that we've been working on in the past. And I think that's what really brings through more freedom. Because you feel like, okay, I've got it down now. It's solid. I've got a foundation and I can really build upon it. And that's especially the case with Saturn here in Pisces. You know, like I've been talking about that for so long. And we'll have Saturn in Pisces all the way through to 2026. It won't move into Aries until February 2026. So we have, you know, a good 2 years more of having that ability to build a spiritual foundation where you're trusting your intuition, where you're getting your guidance with Neptune in Pisces especially, you know, getting lots of guidance. Now, Neptune is still squaring, hold on, let me get back to the grid. The Moon and Mercury, right? Right here, 23, 25. 25 degrees here. Yeah, so at least Mercury's starting to move out of orb. And Mercury moves pretty quick. So this Mercury square Neptune will be gone before too long. It's just like, give it another week before you're going to be like signing contracts and getting things together. Now's the time to test things out, to figure out exactly who's going to be joining you on your, with your projects and businesses and things like that. If it comes to investing money, things like that, just hold off. With the moon, conjunct Mercury, like I was saying, and then over to Neptune with that square to Neptune. Again, use your intuition. If you feel like going in a different direction, or like I say, just wait. The thing is with the moon and that fiery Sag, you kind of want to go, and you want to go now. Maybe question it, right? Take your time. Now, also on another level, the moon rules the public mood and rules literally the public, what's going on in the public. So I think there's going to be a lot of talk about politics on the news. Things are heating up, literally heating up. The dark ones, the corrupt ones, are having more and more courage they're doubling down, but that's how they're just gonna do a big old face plant. So okay, so let's go to Wednesday for us. What's going on? The moon is moving closer to the sun. Tomorrow's the new moon. The moon is crossed over Mars. The moon's crossed over Mercury, crossed over Mars by 6 a.m. So a lot can happen in one day. Now the moon is in solid Capricorn. Now the moon is, now we are feeling like we want to get things done. We want to take self-responsibility, and we're determined to get things done. Even though it's Wednesday, like hump day kind of thing, I don't think we're going to mind working hard today. And also with the moon, see how it's at 7 degrees of Capricorn? It's moving towards more of an exact square to Chiron. So patience is needed today. I'll just say that. Patience is needed because it's headed towards more and more of a square to all of this Aries energy over here. And headed towards the sun. So as the moon approaches the sun, to the new moon, it's going to be within that square to the nodes, right? And then we also have a nice trine coming down to Uranus with is it? Let me double check. Hold on. Moon. Yeah, no, it's Jupiter. Okay, I'm glad I looked. My eyes are going nuts sometimes. I'm staring at this screen, and it is not easy. Okay, so the moon, that's right, 7 degrees here, 5 degrees here. There's our trine. I guess I could have just gone this way too. I'll do that for you guys. There we go. So the moon there, trine. See, I'm still seeing Uranus. I guess that's the sun. Yeah, it's the sun trine Uranus. Okay, we got to talk about both of those. So the moon trine Jupiter is this one blue line here. Okay, so the connection between wanting to, not minding work, because we've got, we've joined up with Mars and we're going. It's probably one of those early morning days of just getting up and going, getting things done, and determination, right? And that duty, that sense of self-responsibility to get it done, lined up with this trine to Jupiter. My goodness, really wanting to get it done and feeling good about getting it done. So I don't know what you guys are working on, but I can't wait to hear about it. And then with Mars there, also trining Jupiter, these two earthly signs, Capricorn and Taurus, and all of this combination here of the moon, Mars, and Jupiter connected over here, we're headed in this direction because you always go with a slower moving planet that's giving the power to. So Jupiter is holding space for expanding, growing. Jupiter's well, it can blow things up too. This could be news. There could be a news blow up today, Wednesday the 10th, and but it can help us open up with Jupiter. It often opens things up for us, which helps us decide where to invest our energy. And then with all the hard-working Capricorn energy, we don't mind doing it because we believe in it. Whatever it is that we've been believing in, we've been working hard on, things I think are probably, whatever we've been working towards, because we've got all this directional energy as well with Sag over here, things will grow. Things will grow. So expect more abundance if you're not minding doing the hard work, daily details, nuts and bolts of daily life and that hard work. But I really do feel like with this Moon Mars, there's going to be something more that we know about famous people as well, because Jupiter can be about fame. Yeah. Okay, so now, well, I should have just left it up there. Let's go from the 19 degrees Sun in Capricorn, 19 degrees Capricorn Sun trine to the 19 degrees Taurus Uranus, right? So we've got that 120 degree angle there. From the Sun to Uranus, definitely a spotlight shining. The Sun can be about fame, the Moon can be about fame. Jupiter can be about fame, Uranus can be shocking. Okay, so that's what I'm expecting today. But for us personally, I feel like it's an awesome day to figure out even more. Because remember, I was saying earlier when we started off that this whole week is this build up to the new moon in Capricorn. And so setting our intentions, starting off early in the week, setting your intentions for whatever you're wanting to accomplish. The new moon can have the influence to last for the next, actually for a whole month, especially the next couple of weeks, but definitely the whole month. So there can be some freedom, some new awarenesses that come through with Uranus there. So that can be really wonderful. Okay, now let's go to the new moon. So the new moon comes in at 3:57 a.m. Pacific. Okay, that'll be 7:57 a.m. Eastern, of course. And it's Thursday, January 11th, in 20 degrees Capricorn. It's not conjunct Pluto yet. Well, if you go within a 10-degree orb, that's a really wide orb. But I'm just going to say we have the influence of Pluto because the moon's going to quickly move into, in between the Sun and Pluto as the day goes on. So, like I was saying before, that T-square with the Sun to the nodes, look how it's exact, 20, 20, and the moon is conjoined. So, if you have any natal planets at between 15 degrees and 25 degrees Capricorn, this new moon will be very influential for you. Or if you have your ascendant, your IC, your descendant, or your midheaven at between 15 and 25 degrees of Capricorn, this will be a very important new moon for you. It just depends on which hot point it would be, right? So if you know your chart and you drop it in the comments, if I have time, I can try to help you out with that. But you have to know your chart well enough to tell me exactly where it is, right, for you. Okay, you can't just say, "Well, I'm a Leo sun, so where's it dropping in my chart?" Well, I wouldn't know that unless I knew your chart, and I'm not doing that for free. But if you know your chart, if you know your chart really well, and you say, "Hey, my ascendant is at 17 degrees Capricorn. What does that mean for me?" I'll tell you, you're going to be attracting. Because the ascendant magnetizes, the ascendant magnetizes, you would be attracting things to help you stabilize in brand new ways. And it's excellent, excellent, excellent energy for setting your intentions. So all week long, this is the perfect time to set your intentions. And by 6 p.m. tonight, the moon will have crossed over and be conjunct Pluto. So this is a very, very, very powerful day. In order to bring in more integrity, come from your integrity, come from your inner authority, come from your natural place that can go slowly, one step at a time. I'm speaking to Capricorn now. Slowly, one step at a time. Doesn't mind working hard, doesn't mind slowing down and taking the time to explain things to people, is focused on the goals, is very willing, can connect the dots, can bring together plans. Think of the construction plans that come together to build a home. That's like Capricorn energy, right? And it doesn't mind doing the hard work because it's always focused on creating new opportunities. And it's also the really good energy for being very self-responsible to create what it is that you want to create, rather than jumping on somebody else's bandwagon, unless it's your job and they're paying you very well to, you're like maybe the CEO or CFO or whatever you're doing, or COO. Duty, self-responsibility, duty and sense of duty and self-responsibility are hallmarks of Capricorn. So I think if you just take all of the information that I've given you as to the build-up for the week and combine it with today's, the culmination point early this morning, I think you're going to see that it's a hard work week, but a good work week, where you get so much accomplished and you set those intentions for the rest of the month. And just know that even when this time comes around next month and we're at the next new moon, that doesn't mean that that the intentions or the opportunity for those intentions are done, because we have to remember that there's in the universe there's this benign circle of self-perpetuation that is always creating something new. So when you get that energy going, when you've made your intention, when you've created your intention and you've worked on it, it's not just an idea and you're not just waiting for somebody to hand it to you, but you've worked on it, that's Capricorn energy. And you've done that hard work and you've laid that solid foundation and you've been listening to your guides and you're trusting your guardian angels to get you going on the right path in the right direction. And you've had so many breakthroughs and you've had so much experience in healing the false beliefs of the past that have kept you away from what you really want to go towards. Bottom line is you've believed in yourself. Sagittarius energy here, Jupiter energy here. You have done really well with believing in yourself. What can happen is that you don't even realize it, but you're already in this benign circle of self-perpetuating abundance and love. And so you can just you can continue to ride that wave. Now that doesn't mean that the waves are going to always be smooth. That doesn't mean that there won't be storms. That doesn't mean that there won't be any waves and you're going to have to paddle your ass off. It's like weather happens. Life happens. But if you stay determined, Capricorn, determined, on your path, Sagittarius path, the healing will come. Jupiter there, Uranus will bring you the breakthroughs and you'll just keep waking up. And if you just keep going, don't give up, you'll be doing it. You'll be getting there. So sometimes sometimes we're floating, right? We're in this ocean of life. Sometimes we're floating. Sometimes we're paddling really hard to get somewhere. Sometimes we're paddling, we're diving under the waves because if we stay up top, we're going to get slammed backwards and taken in the wrong direction. Sometimes we're pulled down into a riptide and it's like, oh, fuck, right? And if you're still here, of course, you made it out, right? But so either you're having to dive down deep and find yourself and then come through the other side and get through that wave. Like nobody ever steers a boat sideways when they're headed towards a wave, because you'll flip right over. You got to head it. You got to, hit it straight on and get through it. Hopefully you don't flip over backwards. Like that's, oh my God, what was that movie? Oh, I think George Clooney was in it. Oh, I can't remember the name of it, but it was that one where the boat went straight up and it was a huge, huge wave. Anyway, boats shouldn't be out in the water. But if you're a body, you can dive. You can dive under and then come up on the other side of the wave. So basically, that's my little analogy of life in a body on Earth. So I'm predicting breakthroughs on Earth in lively Earth experience this week. And with that, I think I'll go ahead and go to Friday. Okay, so Friday, because that's all I have for the new moon. I left it at 4 a.m. because it brought us to, I could have made it earlier, but I don't know that anybody's up that early. Anyway, we have the moon in Aquarius by Friday morning. So now we're thinking and feeling and wanting more freedom. Now we have that more of the Uranian energy coming through in our emotional bodies, in our connective tissue, in our feelings. We're feeling more like we want to network. We want to be with our kindred spirits. We want to, also we might want to organize more. I forgot about that. That's another key word for Capricorn is, and well, I gotta talk to it now because I like to use a 7-degree orb, but still, it's enough. The sun is close enough to Pluto. Organization is a Capricornian keyword, okay? And then once you've organized, then Aquarian energy can bring in categorizing. So like, the nomenclature of whatever the system is that you're working with. But Aquarian energy can invent new opportunities. And it can help us to individualize in a new way, like know that you are a very unique individual and that you actually like that. That's a good thing. As long as you're not looking down on other people as in you're better than, because that's one of the tricky parts with either Leo or Aquarius, that polarity is that pride of, oh, well, I'm smarter than that, or I'm better than that, or, again, back to that, if we're comparing ourselves, we're violating spiritual law. So instead, the better way to work with it, I think, is just to honor your uniqueness. And that way you can stay clean with your energy. But so Aquarius rules science, Uranus rules science. Aquarius is also the sign of things that are just different and unique. But it is our sign of tolerance versus bigotry. And like I was saying, pride, intellectual pride would be the, Aquarian pride. And then fame would probably be more like Leo pride. So we want to stay out of those, again, stay out of the I'm better than you thing. But anyway, Uranus and Aquarius both rule technology. And so we're talking AI, right? All of those things. There might be some major connection. There could be some major breakthroughs this week too. And I'm thinking that with Uranus and Taurus, this is the time to create safety within AI. So we still have some time for that. Because Uranus won't move into Gemini until 2025, I think mid-2025. And then we're still going to have a little bit of a retrogradation process, I think, in there. Yeah. Because I don't think it's totally into fully into Gemini to stay until 2026, if I remember correctly. Okay, so... yeah, I'm going to move on. I mean, we've got the square to Jupiter, but I think that it's just going to go so fast because this happens early in the morning, and that'll be out of orb soon. It might, the square to Jupiter might just play out in the terms of, oh, I have all these great ideas and great inventions, but then Jupiter and Taurus is like, oh, do I really want to invest my money that way? Can I put my money behind my ideas? Is the question there. Or, for some people, this could be pick your battles, because somebody over here is going to hold tight to their belief and they're not going to budge. And you can throw all kinds of ideas at them, and maybe it helps. You never know. But just, we got to be gentle with each other. Okay, Saturday. The moon's still in Aquarius here. We have this double sextile going over to Venus and Ceres. So there's nurturing energy coming through with new ideas, and it is something to believe in. And also, Mercury it's still square Neptune, so I wouldn't say to put your money behind anything or commit, but it's a good, it's about testing out the new ideas. The Sun is closer to Pluto. We're in that 7 degrees of separation, and every day will be 1 degree, right? So even though this is Saturday, I can say that by next Saturday we will have the Sun and Pluto exactly conjunct. Yeah. So this week and next week are, I feel, pivotal. And I feel like next week is going to be shining the spotlight even more on corrupt politicians and corporate people and billionaires and, the ones who aren't working in the light. Then again, if you're a billionaire working in the light, I think you'd give so much of your money away, you might not be a billionaire. 1 billion is 1,000 million. How much money does a person need in order to live happily? Right? Just think about that. Okay. The moon is squaring Uranus, opening up new ideas, a little bit of a tension field as to, am I safe to invest in these ideas? Am I safe with this group? Remember, we always have to remember, Uranus rules Aquarius. Aquarian energy has to do with group consciousness. Well, mass consciousness is more in the Neptunian arena. Group consciousness is more in the, Uranian consciousness. And then the moon would be all the people within the group, right? So we have mass beliefs, mass consciousness beliefs. What do people really believe in? And then, of course, that's all very individual. But then they'll glom onto each other within groups. And so the question is always, is the group coming from love? What's the mission? What's the mission statement? What's the intention of the group? And because Uranus is involved still, and I think it goes for another couple days next week, in this Venus to the South Node to, right, to, it might even go more than a couple days next week because Venus doesn't move that fast. And we're dealing with 19. We can see that the nodes have moved back 1 whole degree this week, almost 1 whole degree. But Uranus is still here holding space. And now that the Sun is trining Uranus and the Moon is squaring Uranus, there's a lot of focus on freedom, a lot of focus on making sure that we are aligned with our like-minded kindred spirits, that we are thinking in ways that are unique, and we are tolerant of each other. Trying to treat each other equally, right, is so important, or at least thinking in terms of other people being equal no matter what their beliefs are, right? It's like if you can think of yourself as a parent and you have a child, and even though they're really frustrated about something, or they think that this is the way this works, and you're trying to help them understand, well, but what if you tried it this way? Or what if that isn't the best way? You can think of something else, without forcing something on them. I think that might be the best way to handle this energy. But you love them, right? Because they're your kid. You love them no matter what. But then again, if they grow up and they've got these terrible rigid ideas and they have grown up to be racist, even though you didn't have anything to do with that, because that can happen. That can definitely happen. I would not blame that. I wouldn't blame some of these kids on any parent, because that's just not my experience. What can happen is there's some tolerance that comes through, mostly because we're in that third decan today. For Saturday, we're in the third decan of Aquarius. So there's some lessons coming through. There's some mastery coming through. And to master Aquarian energy would be to honor everyone's uniqueness and know that they're here on Earth in this lifetime to heal something very deep. And whether they get that lesson or not, they will in some lifetime. Whether or not they heal it, it'll happen in some lifetime. So, we want to be as gentle as we can with them, unless, they're trying to deal with life with an AK-47 or AR-15 or whatever other Uzi or whatever automatic weapon. Then we're going to let the government deal with them. That's what our laws are in place for. Laws to protect humanity, right? Sometimes laws to protect humanity from itself. My goodness. So, okay. Other than that, I think I'm done. The trine over to the South Node, I think, just brings in the wisdom of the past. And the sextile to the North Node, because the Moon is headed even more closely to a tighter sextile to Eris. There's going to be the courage there, as long as you're coming from the wisdom of the past and you're trying to be connected with society rather than split off and cut off. Then there's that opportunity. And just follow your feelings, stick with the love in your heart and honor your unique spirit. Following your feelings, I think, is probably getting out of our heads and into our hearts is going to be the connection for today. Even though you wouldn't normally say that with Aquarius, but I always look at the polar opposite of whatever any sign is carrying. So the polar opposite there would be Leo. So if you bring that heartfelt Leo energy and that courage to love, you can do wonders. And most of all, like I always say, love yourself. Okay, take care, you guys. I'll be back for next week. Later on. Bye.